Hello, everybody. It's not very strong, but if you guys want to try, there's Radio Thailand 13750. It's making it barely here. We can see it on the SDR over there, 13750. So 13750. It's actually it would need to be just a little stronger to actually make it up to here. So welcome aboard, everybody. 13750, Radio Thailand. They're for the East Coast of North America, direct from Thailand at this time. So hope that you enjoy if you're here. And at 0:30, they're going to switch for West Coast. So check it out. A little bit of a signal from Thailand on 13750. Some of you might hear it better than me. I'm in the noise, but it's there. It's definitely there. I can see it making it an about S7. If it wasn't for my high noise level, it wouldn't be too bad on 13750. So this is cool. This is cool. Everything here. Everybody's all right. So different angle today. Why? Because I'm going to actually be tuning. We'll be comparing with there, but I'll be tuning these two beasts here. The ICOM SCR 8500 and the Yaesu FT450. And we'll be comparing signals. I also have the good old Texan here that's receiving Thailand. Just misses just a little bit to be better. That's on the Yaesu. That's on the ICOM. So we'll be tuning the bands a little more tonight, having fun with radios. Hope you enjoyed the show. And so my name is Gilles. I'm located in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, northeast part of North America. We are here to entertain and have fun with radio as usual, and we are going to tune the bands. So I hope that you enjoy that. We'll be checking out what's out there, and it's going to be pretty interesting to see the signals. So once again, Radio Thailand 13750, about as just above the noise floor here, about S7, but probably the strongest I've had it since a very long time, actually. So I hope everybody enjoys the show. So like I said, I'm positioned a little differently tonight because we're going to tune the bands with the desktop radios over here, and we'll check it out here also at the same time. Sorry for the two spots that are here and here because of the lights, but that's life sometimes. I think this one comes from here, right? Yeah, this one I can actually maybe just do a little something. Here we go. Disappeared magically. The other one is possibly, I don't know. Could be the one I don't know. I'm not sure. Might be the one over there. No, it's not. So I don't know. Anyways, welcome aboard, and it's going to be interesting to see what we get tonight if we tune the bands a little bit. My name is Gilles, located in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, northeast part of North America. We tune the bands. We talk about radio. We share our passion for radio and just enjoy a great moment together. This show is twice a week at 0 hours Universal Time on Wednesday. That's Thursday for most part. And at 20 hours Universal Time on Saturday. That's, of course, another of the live shows. Of course, if you are in the time shifting zones of last weekend, that means the show is an hour later because UTC doesn't change, but the local time did change in reference to UTC, so that makes the show an hour later. And when you guys in Europe actually switch, you guys will also see it an hour later. So that's the other part. So here it's 8 p.m. Eastern now on Wednesday, which is I like the 7 p.m. because it's not too late. 8 p.m. is a little later, and it's like it's 8 p.m. Anyways, on Saturday though, the one that now is going to be 4 p.m. Eastern is actually I like that time slot. It's kind of nice. Beautiful weather. It's plus 5 degrees out there, so it's in the upper 30s, I would say. And we're supposed to have some really nice weather next week. This is going to be cool. I might have several videos for walk in the park with some of the new radios that I purchased. So I think this is going to be nice. I have a beautiful story of a radio that is supposed to have been delivered on Monday, which of course it did not. So that's another thing. And we, of course, are have a great time with people in the chat room. If you have a Gmail account, you can check out the chat room, which has amazing people that just are there to enjoy radio and have fun. And you have, of course, the Facebook group, official SWL channel on the Facebook group, which is another place where people have fun. And we continue to party over there when it's over right here. So tonight, vodka and cranberry juice. Cheers. And we're going to, of course, have fun with radio as usual. So to sum things up, I told you guys I was waiting for a receiver, which was a one of those kind of homemade receivers from that were actually built around the Silicon Integrated's 4734, 35. And it looked kind of interesting, so I ordered one. It was shipped. There's a tracking number and everything. Now, the tracking number says that it was finally shipped. It was shipped. It was finally delivered on Monday, March 15th. Problem is, I haven't received anything. So, according to the tracking, it's delivered. I have verified because it's the company that's actually shipped it is 4PX, which is a company that I've heard many times and had some shipments come from China. Usually was okay. But when they get here, they usually are handled by Canada Post. Now, what's interesting in that is it says delivered. The problem is usually when the package is actually sent out, there's the Chinese tracking number is converted, and we have a Canada Post tracking number. Now, here, the interesting part of it is that there's no Canada Post tracking number. It kind of says delivered, but I have no idea. So I, of course, have opened a case on eBay to get a refund, which is kind of weird what's happening right now. So it's, I guess, the last few weeks have been the rough spots for getting packages, having a lot of problems. That's not counting. Today, I received a package by Purolator, and that company, of course, delivers a lot of stuff here. And the guy knows me. So the guy gives me my package, and then he hands me an envelope, and he says, "Oh, by the way, I was at the other address, and I saw your name on the envelope, and I knew it was the wrong address." So he gave me the envelope. It's like, okay, that is nice. So at least the guy's cool. He took the envelope, saw my name, is like, "Oh, this doesn't belong here. This belongs to the other street." So he gave me the envelope at the same time with the package. Crazy. So, Bobby Burgess, nice to have you here. WA5107 SWL in Morgan City, Louisiana, USA. Michael Thompson, nice to have you on board from New Jersey, N2NLQ. Magazine 1976 from Michigan. Got his PL330 from Anonco today. Nice little radio. Can't wait to test it out. Cool. You're going to have a lot of fun with that. It's a really nice little radio. MDK2, Matt in Denver, Colorado. Nice to have you on board. And you guys had 40 centimeters of snow. Youch. That is a winter storm for you. So, wow. Matt says, heard announcements from Radio Exterior España, English at the top of the hour, giving the summer schedule. North American beam will return to 16 meters after at least 2 summers, staying at 31 on 17,855. Why didn't they stay on 9690? That was great. It propagates well in the summer. 17,855, unless solar activity picks up, that's going to be a tough one. That's going to be a real tough one at the time. I mean, most of the path will be in darkness. I don't know who decided that frequency, but wouch. Youch. Okay. Steve Miller, nice to have you on board from Western Arizona. Michael Thompson, nice to have you on board. Thomas Bibish, nice to have you here from Ohio. Minute in time. Cool. What else do we have? Hen, nice to have you here from Georgia, KO4DFJ. John Brace passed his entry level exam Saturday and just waiting for the FCC to issue the call sign. Congratulations. Woo! This is cool. This is cool. Mark Cope, WA5153SWL in Dallas, Texas. Nice to have you here. Rufus Newt, nice to have you here from Laurentian Valley, Ontario. Temperatures are getting warmer. Indeed. Jerry DX, nice to have you here. Randall Klontz, nice to have you on board from Chicago. Trimbali Mr. Bale from the Portland, Oregon area. Nice to have you on board. Yeah, Fallen Sloper. But I was expecting it. I was looking at it every day, and I was like, yeah, that thing is going to be in the ground in not very long. It stayed up there. I was trying to figure out how long it's been there. And it's been there at least 3 winters, if not more. But at least 3 winters. And that's without really caring about it, just leaving it alone. So, at some point you gotta look and you gotta see what happens. Snowstorms, thunderstorms, ice storms, sunny days, rain, all of that takes a toll on the antennas at some point. Joe Pitchy, nice to have you here. Chuck Siegel, nice to have you on board from Philadelphia. TVDXer, bonjour, ça va bien, j'espère que tu vas bien toi aussi. VT Radio, nice to have you on board from Vermont. 13750 S9 plus 10 in Vermont. Cool, great signal. Keegan, nice to have you on board from Northwest Arkansas, XN80Xer. Rob, nice to have you here from Phoenix, Arizona. Brian Penny, nice to have you on board from Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Pretty cool to have all of you here. Mad Radio DXer, nice to have you on board from the UK. And stay safe. Take care. Rufus Newt says 13750 is good. Cool. Tom DXer, WPE2QED, nice to have you on board from the Edson Valley, New York. We still have, of course, a signal from Thailand. Imagine if my noise level would be a little lower. It'd be quite surprising of a signal, actually. Not far from being audible and being able to receive it. Actually, if this one comes in now, by the end of the month, when they do the the schedule change, usually they go to 15590, which is going to make it a tough one unless we have a lot of solar activity. So we're going to check it out. But this is probably your best chance until the end of the month to really get Radio Thailand. 13750 is, let's cross our fingers. So this is direct from Thailand. So we pretty cool to be able to at least hear it a little bit. Kamaxi 76 can definitely hear words on 13750. Andy, nice to have you here from Scotland, UK. David, KJ4CMY, severe thunderstorm warning. So take care. Stay safe. Ralph, nice to have you here from New Jersey. SoCal, nice to have you here from San Diego. Mika Delmage, nice to have you on board. Michel Delmage in Sherwood Park, Alberta. Radio Thailand is good here, of course. Of course, it's always good. Everything from the Asia is good over there. Kimberly, K6YYL, nice to have you here from California. Hello, my friend from Moscow. Nice to have you on board. Eyebrawler, nice to have you here from Northeast Arkansas. RJ88 Dakota, nice to have you on board from Dakota, of course. Joe Rodman, nice to have you here from Chicago. James Farley, nice to have you on board from New Jersey. And another missing package. And that one, I was curious. I find it sad that it didn't make it through. So anyways, I sent a eBay claim so that I get a refund. Really sad that I'm not getting that radio. I was so intrigued by that little portable radio. Joe LaTorco, nice to have you on board, Joe. Chuck CP Davis, nice to have you on board. Likes the band scan videos. More are coming, guy. More are coming. I'm going to do a lot more. I'm going to do some with the portables also, not just with the SDRs. I think you guys are going to enjoy that. And, with the comments of what signals and everything. IT guy, bonjour. Nice to have you on board. And most of the time when I use a shortwave show, when I use a shortwave radio, I use the SDR Play RSPDX on the screen here and drive the audio to my console. But tonight it's a little different. We have the ICOM ICR 8500 here and the Yaesu FT450 here. They are the ones that are connected right now with the MLA30 and connected to the console for the audio. So that's what's going to be used tonight. TVDX or WCBS solid tonight. Cool. Paul, nice to have you on board from New Jersey. Christian Marcoux, bonjour. Nice to have you on board from North Bay, Ontario. James Johnson, WA4493SWL from Florida. Nice to have you here. Dennis, nice to have you on board. Joseph Ickenbaum, nice to have you here from the central coast of California. James Johnson, nice to have you here. Tristan, nice to have you on board from Newfoundland. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. Gin and tonic, cool. Take it easy and have fun. Terry Cook, nice to have you here from Montana, KF7BQ. Hector Vasquez, nice to have you here from California. Mobile Armor Strike Command, nice to have you on board, my friend. Boulder Hill checking in. A tremendous thank you to Sheldon Harvey, who found the schematic diagram for the Spartan Model 626 shortwave radio that he sent me. Cool. Happy that you have that and hope that you're going to be able to fix and check out the thing. Dead Before Digital. Nice to have you on board. Salut. Joe Pecci says Radio Emma Talk 9955. Let's check that out. Let's go to 9955 here. And we have... Yeah, it's a little noisy, but it's there. Check it. Yeah. It's a little noisy up here, but it's there. Been having a lot more interference lately also. I need to check that out. Matt says you must be getting a lucky bounce. I don't have anything but a carrier. Yeah, I'm waiting 10 minutes, Matt. At 0:30, they switched the beam so that it's better for Western North America. So if you have a carrier now, you might be getting a better signal at 030. Check it out. Mike, WDX50, nice to have you on board from Northwest Arkansas. Pretty cool to have everybody here. Steve, good morning from Melbourne, Australia. Nice to have you on board. Joseph Ickenbaum, 13750, coming in pretty noisy here with the MLA30. Wondering if I have some local interference. It's usually a beautiful signal. Yeah, like I said to Matt, since you're in the West Coast, wait in 10 minutes when they shift the beam to the West Coast. Maybe you'll have a better signal. M-Stacks, nice to have you here from Berkeley, California. Waiting for Amazon to deliver the MLA30 loop antenna today that I ordered a couple of days ago. Woohoo! You're going to have a lot of fun. If you have a lot of noise, that antenna is probably going to help you have a lot more radio fun, that's for sure. John McClure, nice to have you here. SB O'Rourke, nice to have you on board. Happy St. Patrick's Day from Hawaii, where it's probably much warmer than here. Dmitry Larinovich, nice to have you on board, my friend. What else do we have? W5BL, nice to have you on board from Texas. Joe Tyson, nice to have you on board from North Carolina, KM4WRQ. SB O'Rourke says, add a number station on 9420 at 0935 last night in Spanish. Wow, 9240. I said 9420, I think. 9240. Cool. Yeah, probably one of the, because you're in Hawaii, and we know that there's a number, quite a number of Asian number stations from Russia that are broadcast from the eastern part of Russia, from the Pacific area. And there's a lot of them in Spanish, actually. So that's kind of an interesting one. Joseph says, what's the best MLA30 level antenna, but for long wave? That I'm not sure exactly. What I would know is that most of the entry level, like the MLA30, seem to degrade quite rapidly in the long wave region. So it's, I don't know which one would be a better one for long wave specifically. I know that the more expensive ones, like the W6LVP loop that I got here, seems to be a good performer probably in the medium wave, long wave band, which I cannot test. But in the price range of an MLA30, I don't know what you could get that would be actually better or not for long wave. RFA Radio Free America, nice to have you on board from Virginia. Avid Tea Drinker, nice to have you here. Getting a Texan PL380 this Friday. So you're gonna have, it's a great, it's great that you're gonna have fun with that little radio. It's a nice little radio. The PL380 is one of those nice portables. Yeah, SB O'Rourke, you're definitely getting some Russian Spanish number station from that's broadcasting towards the Asian Pacific area. It's like that 15721 that I received maybe a couple of years ago. That was for a while a mystery when I was trying to listen to Radio New Zealand. So kind of interesting. Neeson Greenwich, nice to have you on board. And yeah, St. Patrick's Day is not what it was. There was nothing last year, nothing this year in terms of parade and everything. It's pretty big here in Montreal in general. But with the COVID situation, 2 years in a row, that's pretty quiet indeed. Chambali, Mr. Bale. Sorry, my P92B pixel loop antenna rated down to 100 kilohertz. One of the things that's hard on these loop antennas, because what I hate about these antennas is their ratings and their reality is often two separate things. So they rate their antennas to go down to 100 kilohertz. But when you use them, just look at the MLE30. The first MLE30 was rated up to 150 kilohertz, something like that. But it's obvious that below 500 kilohertz, you were quickly losing performance. Now the new one, the Plus, they've started the lower range at 500 kilohertz. But that kind of tells you, yeah, but that rating, is it really a good rating for performance up to that frequency? That's another story. Joe says PL330, one of the best for features for price. Yep, absolutely. I mean, it's hard to beat the amount of features, performance, and overall quality for the price the PL330 is. It's hard to beat. It's very hard to beat. I don't think nobody's going to beat that. What else do we have? Jetcrafter says, "Hi everyone, enjoy the warm afternoon outside today in the Maine during the tuning the bands. Cool." Joseph says, "Still, my MLA30 got slightly bent. I bent it back into shape, but it's not as perfect as it was out of box. How much of a bend in the loop before degradation?" It shouldn't have much of an impact unless it's extremely bent. Even if it would have not a perfect round shape, or if it would be bent a little bit, should not normally degrade enough, or should not affect it enough to see much of a difference. I look at mine here with the wind. I have the dominating west wind on the balcony. I do see that the loop itself has bent slightly, but I don't see any difference. And I've played around with it to unbend it and so on. You shouldn't see much of a difference. One of the things we have to be careful is a difference, because that's the problem with an antenna. Having the impression of a performance decrease or even a performance increase is tough on shortwave, because shortwave is never exactly the same. So it's easy to play around with something and say, well, I don't seem to get what I used to get a few weeks ago. But a few weeks ago and now, propagation has slightly changed because we're going into spring in North America. Solar activity, stuff like that can kind of give you a false impression of it's not as good, or the other way around, a false impression that, wow, the best antenna I've ever had. And that, you got to be careful. It's very tough to analyze how good an antenna is using just shortwave as an example, and thinking that it might be better than another. Because if you didn't do the test on the same day and the same conditions and the same radio, it's not necessarily a good test. You can't test an antenna 2 days in a row, because you can't. Propagation 2 days in a row is not the same. Technically, if you bent it, but you shaped it back into its round shape as much as you could, it shouldn't be really different. So the other thing that I would think of is there could be degradation if maybe something around you is creating noise that wasn't there before. But it's not critical. The shape of the loop is not super critical like on the MLA30. So, Tremolay, Mr. Bell, my pixel loop antenna does go good until around 100 kilohertz. Get WWVB. So, cool. How much is that antenna, Tremolay, Mr. Bell, just out of curiosity? Jazz Tank, nice to have you here from Louisville, Kentucky. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody, of course. RFA, Radio Free America. Are signal enhancers or noise suppressors like the MFJ worth the money? I have very varying comments on those. There's several kinds of these noise suppressors and signal enhancers. First of all, if it's just an amplifier, you're amplifying everything, so you're not going to get better. You got to be careful. You know, when somebody says, "Oh, that is a signal amplifier," it's going to be good. A signal amplifier amplifies everything. That means the ratio of noise versus signal is going to stay the same. You're just going to have more signal of the station, more noise also. It won't be any different. There are some that use a technique which is kind of a phase shift thing, and it requires to have two antennas. And what they do is they analyze the noise on one so that they can actually phase out the noise on the main antenna with the signals. I've heard some good things, but I don't know. I'd like, maybe that would be something I should have to check out its possibility. If you have noise before that, I would actually invest in an MLA30 before anything else, because they're not very expensive and can possibly be better than buying an expensive thing like the MFJ. So, it's a tough one. I really get kind of mixed results when I start reading on those, basically. Kevin Wood, nice to have you here from Nova Scotia, Canada. VE1 TV. What else do we have? What happened to you, Bobby? Blacked out twice. Frank Ireland, nice to have you on board from Florida. Larry Cordy, nice to have you here from New York. And what else do we have? Tom DXer, Time Wavy, and C4 gets good reviews for helping to cut noise using two antennas. So that is an interesting one, because the ones that use two antennas actually use kind of a phase shift thing that cancels the noise in some way. That is an interesting. That is a very interesting way of using, of trying to get signals. So that's kind of a one to maybe that could be an interesting one. Maybe I should get one of those. And I got 3 MLA30s. So what I could do is put an MLA30 on one, an MLA30 on the other one, and try to see if those noise canceling devices actually work well. That could be an interesting. Maybe that could be in the next purchase instead of a radio buying. In times where what is the main problem is often noise. Getting something that cancels noise could be an interesting idea, because in our hobby, one of the biggest things, the biggest problems right now is the noise level that we have around us. So if we could find a way to suppress noise, that could be kind of interesting. And Stack says 13750 Radio Thailand is not there in Berkeley, but he's got Spanish. Yeah, 13740 is Cuba. 13750 here is pretty much gone. There's a very, very weak signal now. But 13740 is Cuba. I can check it out here. 13740. Radio Havana, Cuba. They've been having a pretty good signal on 6000. Big R7769. Why don't I get Channel Master radios? These are more for scanner stuff. Yeah. Well, if you put the vertical antenna, verticals are known to get a lot of noise. Roberto Rojas, nice to have you on board. VE2FJG says FGJ, sorry. Phase cancellation with the MFJ 1026 works, but requires constant adjusting for shortwave. So that's his experience on it. Okay. Kind of interesting. It is kind of interesting. Avid tea drinker. Well, the one I use is EIBI Space, which is always the one that was most accurate for schedules. It has schedules of every shortwave broadcast by time and by frequency. There's other websites also like short-wave.info and stuff like that. Carlos Figueroa. Saludos. ¿Cómo está mi amigo? Where's your location? Gerardo, nice to have you here from Michigan. Yeah, they've been on and off on 6000. The audio's good, though. The audio's really, really good. But they've been cutting off and on all the time. Are they on right now? Yeah, right now they are on. But tonight the audio is really crappy. Wow. Crappy audio tonight. Crappy audio tonight. Terry Cook uses an X-phase noise canceller. You want the Sense antenna to pick up mostly local noise. Okay. Maybe that could be something interesting to check out. For sure. The Export, nice to have you on board from Cincinnati. And it's pretty cool to have everybody here as we are talking and tuning the bands and having fun with radio. So tonight we're going to tune a little bit of the bands. Let's check out a little bit of the 49 meter band and see what's in there. So let's go start at 5800 and go up slowly. So,
and has been honored
so 5800 is radio, is WRMI.
For her outstanding philanthropic and humanitarian deeds.
I'm going back to these people who came over and they lived in Australia for a long period of time. And so, in a way,
5850, I believe, is Radio Slovakia via WRMI 5850.
Maybe we can have our Slovakian colleagues coming over here.
Well, I've learned this sacrificial giving. And a God who gave his son and a son who
WWCR on 5935.
Doesn't reach your heart, don't you give.
Joseph is getting Radio Thailand 13750, much better on the West Coast.
Spirituality is the
perfume making classes. So we go in.
5950 is WRMI again.
80 different scents. I mean, one of them even was cat urine. You might think they put cat urine.
And by the way, I did not put cat urine in any of my.
Timothy says that is what I noticed about 6 megahertz lately. I agree. From my end, using the Skywave radio comes in crappy.
Very popular in many of the very popular perfumes out there. So anyway, what they would do is they had these little paper sticks, and you stick the stick down in the oil or the scent, and then you kind of.
WEWN, the Catholic station on 5970 in Spanish. Hello there, the alarmist.
Entonces, se celebraron grandes sacrificios en honor a los dioses de China.
China Radio International in Spanish via Cuba on 5990.
En el 10º mes lunar, a finales del año. La fiesta de la primavera es la fiesta tradicional antigua más popular y más grande de China. Demuestra las características.
Cuba with, of course, crappy signal.
Que el jabón normal, el que viene en las tiendas cubanas,
Radio
es de muy
Marty
mala
from
calidad y hay
Greenville
problema con la cantidad de
on
esos sacáuticos y la
6030
composición
kilohertz.
química.
Programs
Si quieres
towards
un buen
Cuba.
jabón, hay que ir a las tiendas MLC. ¿Es correcto esto?
Exactamente, Tomás. Pero más que eso, te podría también de comentarte que muchas personas están hablando de que quizás no está
Rufus says,
confirmado.
hopefully my antenna is
Muchas de
back
las
up this
causas de
weekend.
estas
Switch
enfermedades
shack room and it's
tienen que ver
been
con la
too
mala
damn
calidad
cold
de
to
ese jabón
relocate the
que están comprando
antennas.
en la tienda normal.
Well, you should have weather that's going to be pretty nice since we're going to have really nice weather. We're going to be in the 60s actually next week.
De la escabiosis, de la presencia de forúnculos en los casos de menores, de la
Dylan
falta de
says
antibióticos.
5950
Estas
WRMI, always a blowtorch here in
dermatológicas
Florida
necesitan
during
una
the day.
higienización
Finding a time when the trash
posible.
preacher
Lograr
isn't
eso ahí
on
con la
is a
acumulación de
challenge.
basureros, con la falta de
Love it
agua.
when they air music on that channel.
Es precisamente esa la solución, no, es que hay una combinación de sal.
La selección rumana obtuvo el pasado sábado en Lisboa una
6040
frente a Portugal con el marcador de 28-27.
is
Los árabes llegaron la victoria en la última fase después de estar liderados casi todo el partido. Rumanía logró 3
Radio Romania in Spanish.
en el 49.
Not very strong tonight, but yesterday or the day before, man, it was so good to hear HCJB on 6050. It's there, but it's not very strong from Quito, Ecuador on 6050. Aerial imaging, nice to have you on board. WWCR on 6115 with the annoying whine on their transmitter.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's up from Guam, yes. He is alive and well, and he put a video.
Hey, Jeff King from Jacksonville, Florida.
Apoyar en lo que se pueda.
Radio Marti on 6125.
Para que las personas en Cuba, ante la escasez de fármacos que necesitan para combatir.
The export is asking what's the difference in specs between the 4735 and the silicon interrogated 4732. I haven't checked out, but usually they are quite minor. There's little changes here and there. I know that this 4734, 35, most of the difference is in the coverage of the chip itself. But that'll be interesting. I need to check out what silicon integrated 4732. Rufus Newt, have a 30-foot tower for our new location. Climbing it, well, that's a different story. Don't do that alone, man. You need to have help when you do things like that, in case something happens. Dan, nice to have you here from Ohio and 8WJZ. Scott Belcher, nice to have you on board. Yes, I'm at the top of the chat. Very weak Mexico on 6185. Let's go. Let's continue. I'm going to continue up the 6 megahertz range. Let's see if we hear anything special. Something on 6495.2. Kind of a tone or something. Kind of interesting. Matt just finished cleaning up after our St. Patrick's Day feast. Found a recipe for instant pot corned beef and cabbage that worked out great. Cool. Sounds delicious. VE2FGJ, this 6115, the whine, the kind of the high-pitched tone, is a transmitter defect. It actually happens a lot on shortwave when transmitters aren't totally kept up to totally kept in shape. A lot of them actually develop this little high-pitched whining tone. It's definitely a transmitter issue they need to fix. One of the things that it reminds me a lot of shortwave broadcasts that left shortwave over the years, a lot of them at the end when the last year of transmission had this high-pitched whine. I remember Rai Italy, all of their transmitters at the end had that high-pitched tone, and that probably made the demise of the shortwave broadcast faster because they came to a point where they were thinking, well, we need to actually spend money on the transmitters. Maybe it's time to shut down. But that is definitely a transmitter fault. Jeff King says there's a Facebook group dedicated to the old HCJB station. I have a lot of interesting posts. Cool. Cool, Rufus. Got to stay safe when you do things like that. Very important. K1ZEK, nice to have you on board, Leo. Dylan, 3215 WWCR had that one for as long as I can remember, too. I guess it's something with the transmitter. Yeah. Even 15825 has the one. I don't know if it's... I wondered if it was the same transmitter used, but I kind of think that because they're often using several frequencies at the same time, seems more like a defect on multiple transmitters or something like that. Or the feed line. Thomas Olson, nice to have you here from Baltimore. Raj Shrestha, nice to have you here from Nepal. Kathmandu, Nepal. Cool. Nice to have you on board from pretty much the other side of the earth, like our friend in Melbourne, Australia. Oh, it is totally annoying. When the transmitters start having that high pitch whine or tone, it becomes really, really annoying to listen to the broadcast, honestly. They must know, but you know what? There's if you guys listen to the DX block on Saturday evenings, I've noticed that the Ask WWCR, which is supposed to last like 2 or 3 weeks, has been way overdue most of the times. They're not been really doing that much. So I'm wondering if they're really taking care of those transmitters also. Let's check out the email. See if anybody said hello, by the way. So by email, we have Elizabeth saying hello from Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada. Hello there, Elizabeth. We also have Roberto that is watching from British Columbia, Canada. And he says has been watching for a while. I enjoy your shows, enjoy the knowledge, enjoy the friendship of the chat room. I am not participating in the chat room, but love to read all the comments. Nice to be here tonight once again. So nice to have you on board, Roberto. And we have Michael. Interesting. A lot of people through email tonight. Michael, that is located in Michigan, and says hello to everybody. Says he's tuning the bands tonight and having fun. His radio of choice is an old World War II Army receiver that has been fixed. It had several problems, and now it's working great. And he says that he has no interest in modern transistor radios. He'd rather tune with an old tube radio of any kind rather than anything modern. He says, I know there are probably some better radios today, but my fun is tuning with tubes. So cool, cool. This is really, really nice. And it is definitely, something cool to listen in and tune around the bands with a, with a tube receiver. So for those that are not in the chat room but would like to say hi, official shortwaveradio@gmail.com. Each word is written in full. Official shortwaveradio@gmail.com. So why not say hi? Tell us where you are, how long you've been listening, and just say hello. It's fun to know where everybody is. Jetcrafter been using his MLA30 for many days now, powered by a 10,000 milliamp power bank indoors and out. Battery level is still 100%. I'm impressed. Yeah, the MLA30 uses a very, very low power. That amplifier uses a very, very low power. Matt says vernal equinox will be Saturday at 0937 UT, which means that will be in spring officially. And this Saturday is also my birthday. I'll be 52. Scott Belcher ordered an MLA30 and just won a vintage Radio Shack 2280 amplified antenna. Hopefully I'll be finding even more shortwave stations soon. Everybody's saying hello to Elizabeth. James Farley, 6586 USB. Let's go here. 6586 upper sideband. This, I believe, is 6586 is New York aeronautical frequency for the Caribbean. So 6586 is Caribbean B route. And this is air traffic control. 6604, we have Gander Radio, the aeronautical station from Gander, Newfoundland, Canada. 6604 upper sideband. You can check that out.
Wind 210 degrees, 12 knots.
What else do we have?
3 miles.
Carlos Aguila, nice to have you here from Central Mexico. Better late than ever, as they say. Chastang, nice to have you on board. Well, it's red, but, it's vodka and cranberry. I should have put something green in there.
Ceiling 300 broken. Broadcast of 0000 Zulu meter observation.
Thomas Olson says over a year ago, had a guy mentioned transmitter problem and how the electric meter was setting a speed record sucking up electricity at WWCR. Well, I know they had changed a tube. Actually, on one of the Ask WWCR episodes, they explained how they were not buying tubes because they were too expensive. New tubes were really expensive. And what they were doing is taking these tubes and shipping them to a place in California that actually refurbishes the tubes and then send them back. But maybe they've been a little out of it. Dimitri says as Guinness beer today, the green beer for Mr. Gilles. VT Radio says, I have a Signal Corps BC348Q military receiver to listen to. Cool. Chas says, those old military sets can take a lot of damage and keep working just like the old Timex watches. Takes a licking, keeps on licking. Taking, yeah. Log 2112. Nice to have you on board. Thank you very much. So pretty cool to have everybody here. The export order is Texan 3:30 today. Now have to wait April 23rd. Where do you purchase it from? If you purchased it from Anonco, you should have it in a few days. You won't have to wait until that long time. Trustin says, I've had my MLA30 up and running for around a week now. Cuts through the RF noise like a hot knife through butter. I'm a happy boy. It is definitely in a high noise environment. It definitely is the antenna to try. If you want to get some radio back, if you want to get back the fun of having a radio at home, for a lot of people, that's the only thing that's possible. Scott Belcher, thank you very much for the happy birthday. New Hampshire, Homestead, NH Homestead, nice to have you here. Watching you and the start of the Canadians game at the same time. Cool. Cool, Paul. Thank you. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Rob, for the birthday. You guys will be able to tell me that on Saturday at the live show. Lock 2112 says tipping a Miller here for Richard Dribble VA2RHT passed away on 24th February. Oh, really? He passed away on February the 24th. Oh man. VA2RHT. He was in the he came here in the chat room many times in the past few years. Wow, I didn't know he passed away. Do you know what age he was? Sad to hear that. Richard Tribble passed away. Oh. Always sad when we know or have a minimum of knowledge of somebody and Nissan Greenwich, Radio Marquee really strong into Dublin now. Where are they beaming? They are beaming towards Cuba normally. So you're getting kind of the bag beam basically. But they're really strong. Here they're strong all day long everywhere. Dimitri says, playing Irish music all day in my store, just keeping the holiday mood. Cool. 52. I'll be 52 on Saturday. If you purchased an Onco on eBay, you're going to get it in a week. Less than a week is going to be It's going to be there. It's always very, very fast. So it doesn't matter if you purchase via eBay, as long as it's purchased from an Onco. So you took an Onco's eBay store, a week and a half maximum, you're going to have that radio. I bet you by the end of next week, you'll be talking about it. It's a very, very fast shipping and very, very fast service there. Thank you all for the birthday wishes for Saturday. 78. Richard was 78. Wow. So sad. You came here quite a few times in the past few years. Felipe Jose, nice to have you here. PY1IA. Nice to have you on board, my friend. From Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Pretty cool. Talking about Brazil. Let's check 11780. And that's super strong tonight. I'm amazed. Usually Brazil packs a pretty good signal. Not tonight. I was just checking out here the frequency ranges. And you're watching the Shortwave show. Already an hour has passed. M. Locastio, nice to have you here. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Matt says we'll have to figure out a way to sing happy birthday during the live show. Man. So you'll have it fast anyways from a non-com. Rufus, my housemate just walked by, wanted to know what the hell the noise was. Chill on the live stream. Hockey game on. Greets and shortwave on the XH D808. Lots of stuff going at the same time. Oh, man. Whew. Sorry, guys. Got voice English 8789 upper sideband. Okay. So Joseph's got 11780 strong on the GP5 in California. It's usually much better than that. I'm amazed that it's so weak tonight for Brazil. Usually comes in much better. Much better than that. 8788.9. 8788. Anything there here? And nothing here. I got a lot of noise. Maybe I need to check the connections because I've noticed a lot more noise in the past couple of days than in a long time, and I'm wondering if there's not something weird going on or some connection going on that I need to check out, because it's definitely a noisy situation. Matt says going to log into his local radio club's virtual meeting. So I'm doing a presentation on RFI, so I'm going to take notes. Cool, no problem, my friend. There's a lot more to do than just watching my show. How about we tune the ICOM and we'll go down to the 160 meter band. Let's check out 160 meters. What's in there right now? 1800 going up. Anything interesting here? So there's some Morse code here. Check out 1855 lower sideband. Clark Gilson, nice to have you here. KB9SJD from Sodden, Wisconsin. Oh yeah, log 2112. SDRs are great. Canadian Radio TV guy, nice to have you on board from Sherwood Park, Alberta, Canada. NH Olmsted, want me to shout to official shortwave down on 160? Yeah, if you want. What frequency are you going to choose? Let's check the difference here. I'm going to check with the Yaesu. So that's 1900 kilohertz lower sideband. 900 lower sideband. So that's the ICOM. It's a little weaker on the Yaesu. Actually better on the ICOM for some reason. Joseph Ickenbaum, you check for noise interference. Maybe you can make a video series of it. Might be helpful. Yes, absolutely, definitely. A little bit of detective work on finding noise. Trimbali, Mr. Bale, 2054 upper sideband. Yeah, that's a That's a known marine weather station of Kodiak, Alaska. What you're getting is probably Kodiak, Alaska. Or Prince Rupert Radio. Sorry, if I look at the time, we're at 0100. Prince Rupert. It's VAJ out of Prince Rupert and the West Coast. That you're getting. It's Canadian Maritime Station, VAJ. It's there from 0050 to 0110. So you guys on the West Coast can try to 054 upper sideband. It's VAJ Prince Rupert Radio. But you also have later at night, or 340 to 06, weather facts from Kodiak, Alaska on the same frequency is sent out. So this is kind of interesting when you check it out. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Like 2112 says 160 meter is a rarity here. You know what gave me 160 meter back? The MLA 30. Before the MLA 30, I pretty much didn't have any real good reception of 160 meters. It was really, really not very interesting. The sloper was bad because of the noise, and I would hear stations, but very few. And when the loop arrived, both the W6 LVP and MLA 30, man, 160 meters came alive with signals. It was pretty surprising. I was amazed at that for sure. No problem, NH Olmsted. Murat, nice to have you on board from Turkey. Mike Thornton, nice to have you here. WC0L/7 from Arizona, 72 degrees. Pretty cool. John, odd waterfall signal around 4500, 4600. Bonne nuit, TVDXer. Fais attention à toi, samedi. Yeah, that is probably Kodar that you're mentioning. 4500, you get Kodar. So if I tune just for the fun of it here, 4480, for example, you'll hear this chirping sound. And that chirping sound is Kodar. And there's a lot of it between about 44, 35-ish, all the way up to about 45, 50-ish. Kodar is a radar, type of radar to detect ocean waves, the height of ocean waves, the current, also the direction of the ocean currents, and so on. Okay, Dave, I'm on 1990 lower sideband. See if we can hear something from New Hampshire. I'm on frequency. Guess you might be calling. I hear something way down in the noise. Way down in the noise. Chris 66, nice to have you here from Kentucky. What we'll do, Dave, is I'm going to continue up and go through the 2 megahertz band up to 3 megahertz. When I get into 80 meters, maybe you can find, until I get to 80 meters, find an empty spot on the 80 meter band, and we'll try it there in not very long. Thank you, Chris66, for the birthday wishes. Okay, so I'm going to continue tuning up. And when I'm arriving at 80 meters, we'll check that out. So I'm going to go into 2 megahertz and go up here and see what we can hear. $2,598. Not very strong, but 2,598. At this time, should be possibly VOK in Goose Bay, Newfoundland in English. VOK, Marine Weather, Goose Bay, Newfoundland, 2598 upper sideband. You could see the trace there on the SDR, so it's coming in not bad. VOK, Goose Bay, Newfoundland. That's a nice one. Yeah, Saturday is my birthday. So NH Homestead's on 3837. Stay there until I get to 80 meters. So this is 3215 WWCR. We're now going to be able to find WWCR thanks to the high pitch whining tone.
You were teaching me today that the toilet paper...
Krog just sent 2598 barely coming in to Wisconsin. Nothing on 2598. Yeah, in California, I wouldn't count too much on that signal. Dave says, hanging on till you get to 80 meters. Just let me know, and I'll give you a shout out. Cool, Dave. Shouldn't be too long. I'm on 3215 now with WWCR. Very weak CHU on 3330. Killing 110. Nice to have you here. $3413. It's not very strong, but 3413. Shannon Vomit of Ireland. Not very strong, but I can hear it. 3413. Upper sideband. And now we're entering 80 meters. FT8. Some radio teletype, 3596.
Yeah, I knew what you meant. So when is that net again?
3698. Getting close, Dave.
Oh, I meant that trader's net. Oh, the trader's net Sunday night, 7 o'clock. Nobody even looks at anything. 7 minutes. Too much noise on it, so we're quite pleased with tonight's performance.
So here I am, 3837, Dave.
All right, Gilles, I just received your call here, and just have to hear yourself there, and thought I'd make a quick transmission. This is Dave, New Hampshire. The call is Kilo Bravo 1, Japan Charlie United, Kilo Bravo 1, Juliet Charlie Uniform, located in Hollis, New Hampshire, and doing a great show this evening. The Montreal, Quebec, Canada, is Jill with a great live shortwave radio stream. Usually regarding shortwave, ham radio, anything high-frequency radio related, does a great job. And if anyone's on YouTube right now, feel free to check it out. Official stuff as well.
Definitely there, Dave, and they're a little bit of fading, but it's really cool. Nice to have you on 3837.
I hear you loud and clear. You are about a 5'9" here in the state of New Hampshire right now. You're doing a great job. Go ahead.
Yep, log 2112 on the MLA30. They're all on the MLA30. I'm using the multi-coupler, so every radio here is on an MLA30, the same one. Dan can hear Dave in Ohio.
He's on the YouTube channel right now. Are you currently on the YouTube channel? Go ahead.
Scott Belcher. Nice to have you here. Discovered more hams using that band on the XH data. M. Johnson, beautiful day today. Went for the expedition. Cool.
Jill, are you still on 3837? Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. 3837. I'm actually hearing you pretty well.
Still on 3837. Just received the signal. Are you able to hear the gentleman out of Vermont? Go ahead.
Yes, I am able. He's not as strong as you, but I am capable of hearing him.
All right, I'm going to relay for you. He said that he is able to hear, but he's not very strong at the moment. Are you on the YouTube channel at the moment? I'm sorry. Yeah, go for it. Might as well give it a shot.
Just noise right now. I did hear him a little bit earlier.
Turn on the amplifier right now for you.
Okay. Cool. That is kind of cool. Oh, that's pretty good now. Peaking at S8-ish, S9. Definitely nice signal. It's a little noisy, but it's there. 73.
All right, 732. Is there somebody else on the frequency? Go
Pretty
ahead.
cool.
AA1SU, this is KB1JCU. You're in S40. S40 here in New Hampshire. Go ahead.
Carlos says refurbishing the transmitter transistor tubes leaves them as new and costs 60% compared to buying them. Yeah, absolutely. It's less expensive. Killing
All right,
110.
folks, well, have a great night. Just wanted to make a quick shout out to the official SWL channel.
Take care,
Keep up the good work,
K1ZK.
Joe, and, look forward to seeing you down the road. Look forward to continuing also watching
Rufus 3837 is above the noise here. Your call was great.
Cleared 7-3 T-Wall, and I look forward to talking to you down the road. I'm clear, 7-3.
Thanks, Dave. It was really, really cool to have you on, and I was hearing you quite well. There's a little bit of fading on 80 tonight. Signal goes down a little bit into the noise and comes back up, but most of it was pretty good and pretty clear, actually. It was nice to hear you. Thanks for that little test. Dimitri 6030 is Radio Mark T. No, 6030 was, or was it Radio Romania in Spanish? I think it was Radio Romania, sorry. Chris 66 was getting 3837 in Kentucky. Canadian radio TV guy says nothing heard on 3837 except local VE6 call from Alberta. Keegan barely hearing 3837 through the noise in Arkansas. But this is cool. Thanks for the little test there, Dave. It was really fun to hear you, and it's always cool to have these little moments like that where somebody calls CQ and you can hear him over the YouTube channel. Really, really a lot of fun, and thanks for doing this little experiment for us. We're going to continue tuning to 80 meters. We're going to continue up the bands. Some AMers on 3873. Radio Progreso from Cuba. Radio Progreso from Cuba on 4765. That's a noise, but it's there. Delsteka 599. Nice to have you on board from Japan. VT Radio is working Europe on FT8, 80 meters. Pretty cool.
There's that one individual.
Well, at least 4840 doesn't have the high whining pitch tone on WWCR. 4840.
And the fellow I'm dealing with, who is married to her right now, is saying no. When we got married, you promised to forsake all others, and that I would be.
WWV on 5,000 kilohertz. If I were rich and I could get any radio on Earth, what would you get? If I was rich, I would start by buying a place far away from everybody to have the lowest noise possible. And I would probably get one of those really high-end ICOM receivers, like the 9500 or something. That would be, I would probably like to have some of those old, also the the Watkins Johnson really high-end receivers, stuff like that. It'd be cool to tune and check that out. It'd be really, really cool to check that out. You cannot monitor FT8 with FLDG, Clark, but you can use a software called WSGT. Okay, let's start that again. WSJT X. That's the software you want, and you can actually decode. Or, to give you an example, you can use, and I'm going to use the audio here I'm going to go on 3574 upper sideband on the portable Texan PL990X here. Bandwidth at 3 kilohertz. There's an app that is FT8RX, and this is an app for Android. FT8RX. So just being quiet. So here I'm hearing only one. Let me just go fix the delta time here. I've got a few station here. So we're decoding some FT8. Here we go. Now it's working. So this is to give you an idea of the decoding that I just got of the stations. So this is using FT8RX. You got to do the NTP sync, and you got to make sure that the delta time at the bottom is closest to 0 as possible. It works fairly well, and you see no cables, nothing. Just with the audio of the receiver, it's enough to decode FT8. Keegan heard Radio Progresso, Cuba on 90.3 FM via eSkip. Cool. Wavy lines at 4480. If you're talking about the lines that have a angle that just go down, that's CODAR, which is the radar measurements of the ocean waves and ocean currents. Chris 66 says Cuba loud and clear on 6,000. Joe Tyson, yeah, that $10,000 Icon professional rack mount receiver, like they use in embassies. Yep, Mr. Johnson heading to Algonquin in May for 3 days of camping. That's going to be a great place for zero noise. 100 feet random wire, and there's 909X. You're going to have a lot of fun. But then you're going to be sad when you come back, because when you come back, you're going to have all the noise again. That's always the sad part of DXpeditions. It's fun to go, but then you come back home and realize how crappy it is at home, and you don't want to cry. Balstaka says, I usually enjoy CB radio, but I also love overseas radio. The radio is good. Cool. And it's fun. I've got a little CB here. Maybe you don't see it very well, but I've got a, I can turn it on here. I've got a, there you go. That's the Uniden Bearcat 980 SSB right here. Now, unfortunately, the sloper is gone, so the CB doesn't get anything. So now that's going to drive me to actually put up the discount, which has the CB capability on it, a little faster, possibly. Chris 66, 6180, Beijing hour in English. Let's check it out, 6180. Out of curiosity, let's go here. That's out of Cuba transmitter site. And here it is.
United Nations has condemned an attack
Pretty
in
good.
Mali's volatile north that's left 33
China Radio International via
Officials
Cuba.
say around 100 suspected Islamic extremists on motorcycles ambushed a Malian military convoy.
Oh, yeah, I totally agree, Paul.
Spokesperson for the UN
If you wanted to do a creepy, spooky science fiction film, you could use that sound for sure. But then all the radio geeks would like, hey, they used FT8 in that horror movie.
Recommit, rather, to the peace agreements and the accords that have been signed for the sake of the people of Mali. And as you see, the security situation is not going in the right direction.
There was no immediate claim of responsibility for the ambush. So Islamic
I also like
extremists with links to
in the summer nights when I go outside and I see the International Space Station pass overhead. Same thing here. I never get tired of that. Dimitri 6070, you're probably getting CFRX out of Toronto. Log 2112 got an 8640 Watkin Johnson ripped out of my old tank. 1983, still decent shape and works. These are amazing radios.
History is made up of stories. Put down that lengthy book spanning thousands of years, and instead follow the makers and shakers of Chinese history podcast.
Yogi,
The biographies of 20 historic figures.
nice to have you on board.
Meet the most renowned ancient Chinese rulers, ministers, thinkers, scientists, poets.
Gander is busy on 8991 or 8891. Yep. Cool.
Subscribe to Makers and Shakers of Chinese
Cool.
History for free on your favorite podcast app.
Killing 110. The atmospheric, the weather itself, snowstorms, stuff like that, do not induce any noise. Where they could induce noise, and where weather is something that could affect, is when the amount of humidity gets higher, and the local, like power, distribution could sometimes spark or have some problems because of its there's too much humidity out there. But weather itself does not affect shortwave in general, not on the low frequencies. Joe, the CFRX transmitter is so it's a big, from what I understand, it's a big vertical that they have. technically, that broadcast of CFRX is meant for Northern Ontario. So it's meant for people that work in the northern parts of the province of Ontario and that want to have news from home in Toronto. Funniest part is that they have had a lot of cuts from Bell Media, like CJ80 here in Montreal. I'm pretty sure they don't know that shortwave exists, because if they did, that shortwave transmitter would be turned off. Maybe it's better that they have no idea it exists, because I'm pretty sure they have nobody at Bell has a single idea that transmitter exists on shortwave for CFRB, CFRX. It would be cut off. With all the cuts they're doing right now, it would be cut off. So I'm sure there's somebody somewhere, an engineer, that's like, let's just say nothing. Let's just pretend it doesn't exist, and hope the transmitter holds up, because I am pretty sure nobody knows at Bell Media that there's a shortwave transmitter there, because they'd cut that off. Somebody was asking me about news from that 6030 station out of Alberta. Apparently, they want to come back on the air eventually, but we'll see. It's crazy, because these are things that I don't think any AM or broadcaster really wants these anymore today. There used to be a lot in Canada. There used to be the one in Vancouver, the one in Alberta. There used to be the one. Used to be CFCX here in Montreal, just southwest of Montreal. There used to be the one in Newfoundland, 6160. There are quite a few of those. And as time went by, of course, they were shut down. And I don't think that, like I said, if they knew they existed, they would probably be cut off, because they wouldn't understand why should this continue the way it is. Why spend money for that, Log 2112, whoever it was who came up with putting them all on shortwave all those years ago deserves a toast. Absolutely. Well, there was a definite reason when that happened. And a lot of workers went up north and would work, especially in the summertime. And there's a lot of people up north and wanted to have news of their local area down in the southern parts of Canada, in their own city or province. So, you have a situation where it was useful, possibly, when a lot of radios had shortwave back then. But, apart from us geeks, honestly, I don't think anybody that goes up north knows that there's a shortwave service of a station in Toronto that they could listen in on a shortwave radio. I don't think that would. I don't think that is something useful anymore from the most part. So Killing 110 says killing. I was been saying killing all night. Kill King. Better not let big corporations know about it, because they love to control info. But it's not just that, because it's a local media anyway, so it's already controlled. It's mostly because they're going to just shut it down. They won't understand why we should spend money for that. You know what? What I understand is that, for example, here, CFCX, which was on 6005 kilohertz, was the same place where CF transmitters were, which is just southwest of Montreal at the Kanawake native reserve. There's a big land there. From what I know, that shortwave transmitter and antenna, I think, is still up. It's still there. They didn't dismantle anything. They just left it there doing nothing. So Sheldon would be good at this. So Sheldon, I think one of the two stations, the music stations that were supposed to be talk radio stations on 690 and not 690, 600 and 940. One of them comes from that transmitter site, actually, I think. But I believe, and we need Sheldon. Sheldon knows more than me on the local media and antennas and everything around here. But I believe the shortwave transmitter is still up, still exists. They're just they're not doing anything with it. That's all. Yeah, Keegan. You know, they are doing so many changes here in Canada and the AM radio sphere that is crazy. So now here in Montreal, CJAD, and that's the crazy part. CJAD 800 is the highest rating English language station in Montreal. It has the highest rating by far. It's crazy. It's like dominant on its market. English in Montreal and around Montreal listen to CJAD like crazy. And so this is CJAD. I'm just going to put it on here. Here's CJAD.
Nutritional problems in this country.
So that's
from the
CJAD 800 Montreal.
The way that food is farmed to then the production.
They have decided that the news is now going to come off of CTV News, the TV outlet. And, you know, we can all agree one thing is that when you have a visual, you don't give out the news the same way that when you have just radio, because you got to explain more. So those changes, it's stupid, especially for a station that has such high ratings. This is crazy. For those of you that listen to the International Radio Report on Sunday and from our new YouTube channel, we talked about it, and I talked about how I'm curious of the next rating season, because I'm curious that of what's going to happen and how the ratings are going to be affected. So kind of crazy. For those that wonder, we have a show, me and Sheldon. Sheldon it's actually Sheldon's show, International Radio Report. I am co-host on a station in Montreal, which is CKUT 90.3 FM. So we started putting up the program on YouTube now. So if you want to hear the latest news, what's happening locally and internationally on the radio, and what's happening on radio everywhere in the world, learn more, any events, we talk about it, and it's every Sunday, 14:30 UTC, 10:30 a.m. local. It's live on ckut.ca and 90.3 FM in Montreal. You can stream it live on ckut.ca. Use your favorite aggregator, Soundgarden, whatever. Just ask or just look for CKUT. And if you miss it, you can listen to the archive on ckut.ca. There's an archive of 3 months. Or from now on, at noon on Sunday, that's 16 hours UTC, I post the show that we had on that Sunday. So every Sunday, you'll have it on the YouTube channel that I just posted the link so that you can check it out. Why not subscribe and listen to our show every week? Trembali, Mr. Bell misses the transmitter in Vancouver, Canada. And yeah. Canadian Radio TV, guys, CFVP 1030, 6030, sorry. Oops, I lost something here. Is the funny 24/7 stand-up comedy station, 1060 AM now. Yeah, that they changed our programming, which is weird, so weird. Frank Ireland, nice to have you here. If prices were the same, would you choose the XH Data D808 or the Texan PL330? Also, does the PL330 have soft muting when tuned? So yes, it has soft muting because it's one of those DSP based radios, so it has soft muting. Wow, that is a darn good question. Which one would I choose? I would probably, I would probably choose the Texan PL330 for its frequency precision and its different, the ETM plus scan. I think I would be more satisfied with that than the XH Data D808. But that said, I'm talking about that for some of the features, because honestly, the XH Data D808 is a great radio, honestly. Log 2112, just the fact of literally 1,000 signals, 1,000 modes, and they are still from one end of the spectrum to the other. Yep. James Farley is receiving emergency action messages on 4724-8992. Trimbelli, Mr. Bale, I think I could listen to any shortwave station with a regular AM radio if I get close enough to the station and the radio has bad enough filtering. Thomas Olson, take care, everybody. Stay safe. And radio on. Log 2112, Mrs. Glenn Hauser and Ian McFarlane on RCI Sunday nights, 5965, 9535. Yeah, I miss quite a few of the transmissions and stuff we could hear on the shortwave in the past. Can tell you that. Skip, don't be sorry because you're late. It's fine. There are other things to do than watch my my show. Also, I'm not the king of the world, or maybe I am. Nice to have you here, Skip, and to EI. Frank Ireland says, I read that you can disable the internal ferrite antenna with some soft touch button on the PL330, but does it allow you to use the external antenna jack for medium wave when you do it? Yes. When you actually activate the hidden feature by disabling the antenna, the telescopic, you actually give access to the external antenna to the external to the AM band. But let's put that in a perspective here, okay? And I would say that maybe we should put that in perspective also for the Texan PL990X. Depending on how good they are to resist overloading from strong stations, it might be a good idea, or maybe not. And do not forget that unless you've got some really good outdoor antenna, the internal ferrite of most portables is actually a pretty good antenna. It's surprising how good it could be. So, Kill King, here in the US, the FCC is allowing AM stations to go digital if they stop broadcasting in analog. Yeah, but that's not going to take on. You know what? There's one of the news items we had about Ireland that is actually discontinuing a lot of its digital audio broadcasting services. What we understand, countries around the world that gave a deadline where digital will switch in are the ones that successfully got into that new market, because like TV, they decided there's an off date. And after that time, well, if you don't have a digital radio, you're not going to get anything. So that pushed everybody there. But honestly, everywhere where you have a choice, the HD radio is not taking on. Actually, it's going away. Look at how many stations in North America were HD on the AM band and 10 years ago. There's just a handful left today. It's the more it goes, the more the stations are leaving the HD radio stuff. And a lot of them are doing a trick that stations here in Montreal are actually doing. I mean, here in Montreal, and that surprised me when I got my HDR14, Stangian HDR14 portable. It was that, if I'm going to show you guys live. So I told you that CJ80 is here, 800.
Because they can't get a refund.
So that's CJ80 800. CJ80 is also HD. And I couldn't understand why CJ80 was not tripping the HD on my radio. And it's until I went to tune the FM band on 107.3 that I noticed. Here it goes. So CJ80 AM
A lot of people have been putting time.
is actually on an FM outlet.
It's something that I know we've all had a challenge with. Anyone who's had a job where you interact with customers out there.
On HD2 on 107.3. And a lot of US stations are actually using that trick. Instead of firing up the HD transmitter capabilities on AM, they're using their sister stations. And they broadcast on FM. And the worst part is, because now that I've been listening to, I love this little HDR14. It's a nice little package. It's a great receiver. But now that I've been listening for a while, I understand one thing. Apart from having different channels, which is kind of cool, so you could have, HD1, HD2 that have different programmings. The use of, for example, one of the stations here, 105.7, is in HD. But it doesn't have any other programs on the other, channels of HD channels that it could use. FM radio is useless in HD because there's no improvement in audio from FM to HD in FM. The only improvement you get is the added channels that they can give you, the added content. You can multiply by 3 the amount of information on the FM band. For that, yeah, okay, cool. But I have to say, AM definitely has an improvement on HD. And the only way I could notice it is that when I go on the AM band, since there's no HD radio stations in Montreal, I let it scan the AM band, and I found a few US stations that when they are at, with skip at night, stations go fade out, fade in. When they fade in strong enough, it actually triggers the HD. And I can hear, for example, 1080, WTIC, I think it is, 1080. When they're strong enough, actually it triggers HD. And when they get an HD, wow, what an amazing audio. 1210 also was from Philadelphia, was triggering the HD. Funny part is 1210 doesn't trigger HD anymore. I wonder if they turned off the HD in the transmitter. So there's a few stations like that actually, when they are strong enough, I notice how good the audio is on AM, but nobody's using that. And unless it gets pushed, it's not taking on. It's actually, people are not going to an HD radio. I would be surprised. I would honestly be surprised that there's a lot of people that actually know what an HD radio is all about. Pretty crazy. Our JD Dakota says, I had an AM stereo and really enjoyed it for a few months. One of my local stations switched to Xerox, but switched back to its normal format. Was also tried on WRNO Worldwide. Wow. 5970 is WEWN, the Catholic station from the United States, Dimitri. Hey, William Helms from Florida. Nice to have you here. Keegan missed the first 8 minutes of the latest show. Tune in to 9:38 a.m. Central. So I went to YouTube channel and listened again. Cool. Carl, KFI 640 did that. They used to broadcast in HD, then switched to 103.5 HD2. Yeah, it's a very popular way of doing that now. Is they do it on their FM outlet instead. Log 2112, very faint Japanese slot machine on 8588 upper sideband. Can't actually hear it, but I see it on the SDR play. Keegan says, I have the Sangean HDR14 HD radio since November 5th, 2020 after watching my review. You still like it? I like it. It's a great, neat little radio. Trimbali says, I get an improvement in digital FM versus analog FM. The high-pitched sounds are better. Yeah, but, still. For AM, though, it's amazing. Timothy, KISR 93.7 starts HD stations on 93.1, 94.1, 101.9, and 105.9, different formats. Clogs up local FM. Marvin Martian, yep. I can't agree with you on that. HD and the US on FM sounds much better for music, much better on my radio in my car. Maybe on a high-end radio. Okay, we'll put it there because it's possible that on a high-end radio that it might have better audio for sure. But honestly, AM is where HD radio would shine much more than FM, except for the extra channels, which that is absolutely great. It's hard to assess here because I do see there's a little more high frequency tones when I'm in HD here, but this is a small radio that doesn't have high fidelity. I mean, this thing is a small speaker. So it's possible that on a good car radio or on a good radio that has great sound, that the HD on FM, it might be better. But I'll add another side to that, Marvin, is that honestly, people like us care. The average population doesn't care for most of it. And the average population doesn't even know it exists. RJ88 Dakota, KMOX also did this a few years back on the NFM affiliate. The HD on medium wave on KMOX has been shut down. Yeah, most AM affiliates are actually shutting that down. VA2XMS, Pedro, nice to have you on board, my friend. Long time, yes. And we have visits. We have a visit. Here we go. Mr. Paul saying hello to everybody. Mr. Paul. Mr. Paul is in the house saying hi. NH Homestead, I believe W1030 WBZ has HD. Yeah, here it doesn't trigger. It's like 880. WCBS 880, everybody tells me is HD. It doesn't trigger on my radio here. Not all their radio stations actually trigger it. Dylan says HD on medium wave is a disaster to code channel. Well, when they started HD radio, I remember when it was really intense because a lot of stations had it. There was so much white noise everywhere. It was kind of crazy. So, it's one of those things sometimes. It's one of those things sometimes. That's just nuts. Like 2112, VVV, the FUF, French Navy 4285 Stanag. 8552952 giving email on my own. There's Senegal. Senegal on many of their frequencies are the STANAG is actually unencrypted, and they're sending mostly test transmission. When you try it, I need to retune and check it out more. Yogi says in places where DAB is popular, there are usually multiple stations people can listen to. DAB failed in countries where they put only a few stations on the platform. But DAB also fails in countries that did not give a deadline. From what I noticed is where it actually works is where they have a deadline that everybody should be in HD, and that's it at a certain time. Arcadia Dakota says FM HD more of the headphone experience. Maybe I should listen with the headphone on the HDR13. Maybe I'd be more satisfied. That's something I'm going to do later. I'm going to put a pair of headphones on it, and I'm going to check out the difference between HD FM and the regular FM on the radio. See what happens. Yes, I know. So it's really crazy. So Keegan likes the HDR13. Yeah, it is a nice little radio. Aerial imaging is HD, and digital mode broadcast radio is just applied to condense and confiscate spectrum for industry. People don't stand to gain anything from their radio being HD. Now we just need new equipment. Well, there is an advantage. Okay, I'll have to say that if everybody would go on board and add new channels, for example, in the FM band, if you had new channels to if you add new channels to the FM band and have HD2, HD1, HD2 with different broadcasts, there's totally an added bonus for that. And an example is here. WVPS 107.9 out of Burlington, Vermont. They have the BBC World Service on HD2. I've been totally enjoying that on this little radio here, the HDR13. So I listen to WVPS, and when, especially at night when I'm cooking my food and their stuff, I go to WVPS. If it's interesting, I stay there. If not, I'll tune to HD2 and go to the BBC stream and see what's interesting there. I really, truly enjoy that. And for that, totally, there's an added bonus to have these HD channels for sure. But apart from that, I don't know. The stations are not participating that much, honestly. It's just the way it is. Yogi says DAB doesn't sound better than FM in good reception conditions. If people are only getting a handful of stations, people wouldn't care. Joe Tyson says, I see a GE Super Radio 3 in the background. I have one myself. Yeah, here. I've not used it in a long time. It is definitely... It's definitely... I purchased it because it went on sale at Canadian Tires. And it came strapped with a little portable shortwave radio, which was a Ethon Mini 300 or something. I'm trying to remember. But I've had it for quite a while now. Yeah, little cat. Everybody saying hi to Paul. The other one, the stray cat, the female cat, calling it mignon. in French, which means, she's kind of cute, basically. Take care, VT Radio 73. RFA Radio Free America. Do you still use your old Patrolman Shortwave 60 portable? That was my first. You know what? It hasn't been used in a long time, but every time I look at it, I can see it from here. I always get this little something in my head that says, you know what? Why don't you take that out and use it and tune it around a little bit? And I've got both. I've got the little sister also, which the CB60. So I've got the Shortwave 60 and the CB60. The difference, same radio, but the CB60 has a 40-channel CB. The SW60 has shortwave. So 5950 is WRMI. Aerial imaging, it's not like TV. People don't care if their broadcast radio is HD. V2XMS, XMX says in Montreal, Vermont Public Radio broadcast in HD. Yep, and it received very well. I do listen to, they actually have 3 broadcasts. They have 107.9, which is the WVPS VPR broadcast. On HD1, they have the classical music. And HD2 has the BBC stream 24 hours, which I love. I love. Ouch. Paul has his claws in my leg. Ow. Ray Carlisi, nice to have you here. Nothing's changed on the video here. Could be that on your end the quality of the stream is better, because there's nothing really changed there, except for the orientation of the camera. Yogi says the deadline worked on the TV platform. Most countries where digital TV is adopted, this is how it has been done with radio. Only Norway turned off the analog radio this way. So kind of interesting. What else do we have? We have Doug. Doug Noble is asking, any shortwave from Australia still heard in North America? I know that there's a few reports of that the HCJB Australia station from time to time. There are some reports coming from there that people are hearing it, mostly on the West Coast. Apart from that, Australia, there's nothing much that we hear except amateur radio operators. And that's a tough one, especially here on the East Coast. Once again, on the West Coast, there's probably more chances of Australia on ham bands and stuff like that, but not much. And I totally miss Radio Australia, I can tell you that. Like 2112, that's a happy cat. Oh yeah, he's really happy, I can tell you that. I can tell you that. Fergus said hello. Cool. Trembling Mr. Bell. If Paul's tail goes straight up when his butt is in the air, is his tail transmitting? Yeah, it's a pirate cat radio station. Man. Keegan says NPR station KWGS in Tulsa, Oklahoma, 89.5 in HD, as BBC World Service on HD3. So it's kind of cool, No, he ain't missed any meals, I can tell you that. Canadian Radio TV guy says G Super Radio 2, they're really good for AMDX radios. Yeah, the 3 is... I would need to take it out a little more and give it a spin again, but the G Super Radio 3, unfortunately, I think they missed the mark. It's not what it could be. I know that there's a lot of mods on the internet to make it better, but man. What else do we have? Yeah, Paul. Well, when he usually comes here, he does want to get petted, but there's also another thing that he wants is for me to give him some food. Oh man. Yep, North America, Mexico, US, and Canada use the same HD standard for HD radio. And almost no one does it. So, yeah, on the way to the food, absolutely. Dimitri says on AM 11:30, late night show about Bigfoot, UFO, and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of things that I get there. Yeah, 4KZ in Queensland. That's on 5055. I've never heard that one, but I guess there are some people that probably do receive it sometime. Joe Tyson says, "Yep, Super Radio 1 and 2 definitely better." Yeah, the 3 was like much more of a problem, and it's super out of whack on the display. It's like, I mean, I remember when I got it, I put little stickers to show where, for example, 1,000 kilohertz was, where 1,100 kilohertz was, because it was so off in the display that it was crazy. Skip says Radio Shack 553 TRF-AM portable is a great old AM DX portable. Many mods. Yeah, I remember that long range radio. They were selling it really as a long range receiver, and heard a lot of good things about it. Joe says the 330 does something no other radio I have does. Go to ETM mode, click on a lower sideband, start ETM scan, and it scans 2250 to 29701 kilohertz steps. So, interesting. I'll have to try that. So, hey guys, we've been on for 2 hours and 12 minutes. I'm going to take it easy for the night. It's later than usual. It is 10:15 p.m. here almost. So I'm going to take it easy. Continue listening to the radio probably. Try some medium wave DXing maybe a little bit more. So hope you enjoyed the show. We will be back on Saturday at 20 hours Universal Time. And we will have more radio fun on this coming Saturday show. Yeah, the GE Super Radio 3 does use variac tuning, absolutely. But it wasn't well designed. I think they designed it kind of they did it. It's almost as if they did it because it was a good seller and they thought, oh, let's extend that and do a 3, but the 3 wasn't like the 1 and the 2. And I purchased it because it was on sale. And I've never been really that impressed with it, honestly. So take care, everybody. Stay safe. Nice to have you on board. And always nice to have you here. We'll be back this Saturday. And stay safe, everyone. It's always fun to have you guys on board. And it's always fun to have everybody here. So take care, everyone. See you maybe on the Facebook group. And radio on. Have fun with radio. That's the important thing. Okay? So take care, everybody. Bye-bye.